So, reiterating the facts, what are we saying? That in terms of the dimensions of prayer, when you stand to engage in the activity of prayer, understand that there are two basic dimensions of that prayer or of prayer in terms of the action dimension and in terms of the thought or thinking dimension. And we spoke in the first part of this sermon extensively in with regard to the action dimension. We outlined certain parameters in terms of the book of James, where James speaks of the fact that the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man avails much. So everyone can pray, everyone can get a certain level of result. But James outlines that even though we all pray fervently, even though we all pray and make it more effectual, James now qualifies it with one criteria. He says righteousness, where James was emphatic that it is the effectual and fervent prayer of the righteous man that is what avails much. Understand? And the book of James chapter 5 verse 16, where we see this verse, he said the effectual fervent prayer of the righteous man avails much. If you check the Greek word for righteous man, it is the Greek word dikaios, where it means righteous or one observing divine laws in a wide sense, upright, righteous, virtuous, keeping the commandments of God, of those who seem to themselves to be righteous, who pride themselves to be righteous, or pride themselves in the virtues, whether real or imagined, innocent, faultless, guiltless, used of him whose way of thinking, feeling, and acting is wholly conformed to the will of God, and who therefore needs no rectification in the heart or life. B. Only Christ truly continue approved of or acceptable of God, in a narrow sense, rendering to each his due, and that in a judicial sense, passing just judgment on others, whether expressed in words or shown by the manner of dealing with them. So James says that one who observes the commandments of God, one who is upright in that sense or context of virtuity, James is saying that it is such believers who, when they pray, they avail much. So you would get some level of result. So now begin to appreciate brother A and brother B. James makes it very clear and now makes it impossible to be misunderstood. He says that brother A gets the desired results because one, righteousness, and brother B seems to be struggling with the result, even though he's also a believer, because of a first criteria. He says righteousness. Then we also see the issue or the story of the centurion who, when was sent to Jesus concerning his servant, when the elders of the Jews got there, they said that this man, number one, loves the nation. This man loves the nation. Speaking of believers who have the kingdom at heart, who are winning souls for the kingdom, who are committed in the house of God, who are dedicated to the things of God, and who want to see the advancement of the kingdom move forward. He said this man loves the nation. Then he also talks about this man building the synagogue wholeheartedly in terms of his resources being pushed to support the kingdom. This becomes his investment. This becomes the rock or the pillar or the spiritual legality that speaks for him any day he lifts up his voice to pray. So number one, like we said, righteousness is key in terms of availing much. Number two, your level of investment in the kingdom is also key to availing much. So in the realm of action, these criteria is key to availing much. And then number 3, we spoke about understanding your being and your personality of who you are in Christ. Understanding the reality where it is not just a religious jargon, but it has become a reality that has awakened a certain level of spiritual understanding in you, that your body is the temple of God. Do you not know that the Holy Spirit is resident in you? Do you not know that he that is in you is greater than he that is in the world? Do you not know that you have come to Mount Zion, the city of the living God, to the new Jerusalem, to the blood that speaks better things than the blood of Abel? Do you not know that do you not know that ministering angels have been sent to the heirs of salvation? Ministering angels, that angels have been released and assigned to you to execute your command. This consciousness, this reality of who you are in the spirit, the pneumaticos, the reality of who you are in the spirit is also potent and is also necessary to enforce and bring into being the desired results when you pray. So this is the action dimension of prayer. Keep following. Now let's look at the thinking or the thought dimension of prayer. We saw Jesus in the introductory part of the sermon introducing several verses. We saw in the book of John chapter 15, we saw in the book of Mark chapter 11, when Jesus was emphatic. He said, when you ask, believe and you shall receive. When you ask, believe and you shall receive. When you ask of the Father in my name, believe and you shall receive. So Jesus speaks of two basic parameters, where you ask and when you believe. For believe is in the realm of thoughts. Believe is in the realm of thoughts. So now understand that for most people, when they are offered the opportunity to engage divinity, when they are offered the opportunity to engage divinity, they just go and think that kabadabadabadabadaba, and when they are done, they just go and sleep. No, you missed it. Understand that once you initiate the process, it is until the desired results. So when you initiate the process, same with Abraham. Abraham stayed in prayer and engaged divinity until the desired results. He stayed in prayer for as long as possible until the desired result. It is not how long you stay in prayer, but it is how well you yield your heart and your mind to receiving. Hear me. I said it's not how long you stay in prayer, but it is how well you condition your mind and your heart to receive. Jesus said, when you ask, believe. Speaking of the mind and the heart, that your heart is conditioned and your mind is positioned together with your spirit to receive. So when you go and you make a demand, when you go and you have the opportunity to interact with divinity, understand that once you are done, you are not done. You need to now retain that thing in your mind, believe in it. That is how you would enforce the desired result. He said, when you ask, don't just go and sleep. He said, believe it, retain it in your mind and believe it, expecting it. Why? Because scripture is emphatic. He said the expectation of the righteous will not be cut short. Let's see that verse. I'm taking it slowly, preaching from my spirit. The book of Proverbs 23 verse 18. Proverbs 23 verse 18. He said, for surely there is an end, for the expectation shall not be cut off. For the expectation shall not be cut off. This speaks of the fact that now when you are done with the action, there is a realm of thought which encompasses the realm of belief and the realm of expectation. He said, when you have prayed, when you have asked, when you have the opportunity to come face to face to interact with divinity, Jesus said, now it is a continuous flow where now it moves from the realm of action into the realm of thoughts. Now in the realm of thoughts, Jesus said, retain it in your mind. Do not let go of what you have asked. After you have asked, after you have come face to face and had the opportunity to interact with divinity, whatever interaction, whatever communications you receive from the spirit, whatever dreams you receive from the spirit, whatever visions you receive from the spirit, Jesus said, retain it in your mind, believe it in your heart, and expect it. and it shall produce, and you shall surely receive it. So now brother B goes into prayer, and for him, let's assume he's righteous, let's assume he meets all the criteria, yet he goes into prayer, he makes a request, and now goes and even forgets the request he made. He missed it. He might get some level of result, but might not get the desired result. But hear me, brother A now goes into prayer. He also meets all the criteria. He has the opportunity to come face to face with divinity. He has the opportunity to interact with divinity. Now, after brother A makes the request, brother A now understands that he moves from that interaction, and now he has to hold that mental thought in his mind. We'll see very soon. It's all in the scripture. He has to now hold on to that mental thought in his mind, understanding that the expectation of the righteous will not be cut short. The expectation of the righteous will not be cut short. He said, it shall surely not be cut short. So you hold it in your mind, hold it in your heart, believe it with everything in you, and it shall surely come to pass. He said, when you have asked in the realm of asking, and you now move, it's a continuous flow. It's not like you ask and no. He said, when you ask, understand, it is a continuous flow. So even if you leave your prayer closet, don't let that thing leave your mind. Even if you leave your prayer closet, still hold it in your mind, still have that mental picture in your mind, believe it with everything in you. He said, after you have asked of my Father in my name, believe it, hold it up. Let's see. Come, let's see the book of Mark 11:24. Let's take it one step at a time. Mark 11:24. He said, therefore I say unto you, what things soever ye desire, when you pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Let's see. The Greek word for the word believe. Is pisteo, which means to think. That is the first one. Believe, to think. I'm telling you, I'm teaching you a spiritual reality. So now when you have prayed, think about it. Think on these things. Think about it. Think on these things. When you pray concerning a request, believing God for fruit of the womb, think about your baby. You can go out, shop for baby things, shop for baby clothes, shop for baby shoes, shop for this. Even begin to name the baby. You have your baby room, begin to design the baby room. Think on it, imagine it. Think on these things, and they shall produce. Jesus said, when you now begin the prayer in the asking realm, don't just leave it in the asking realm. He said, now move into the thinking realm. Now in the thinking realm, he said, believe, and believe in pisteo simply means to think on it. So now when you are in the asking realm, so now you wake up at 12 midnight and you place a request, you have the opportunity to come face to face with divinity, and you now interact with divinity. He says, when you leave that prayer closet, he said, believe it. Pisteo means think on it. Don't let go of that mental picture, that vision that you received concerning your future, that vision that you received concerning your marriage, that vision that you received. That is why God sends us visions. That is why he sends us dreams. That vision and dream that you receive, don't let go of it. The other day in the book of Habakkuk, he said, Habakkuk, pick a paper and a pen, write the vision which I shall show you, so that those that read it, they will run and not fail. Let's see. I'll come back to Pisteo. Habakkuk chapter 2 verses 2. He said, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it shall surely come, it will not tarry. It will surely come, it will not tarry. Understand? When you engage the realm, the first dimension of prayer, which is the asking dimension, Jesus said, don't let go of that mental image. Don't let go of that mental image. Don't let go of that mental image. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Let's see some more. Back to Pisteo. Mark 11:24. Back to Pisteo. Therefore I say unto ye, what things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe. Pisteo. It means to be true. to be persuaded of, to credit, to place confidence in something. When you pray, place confidence in it. Believe that you have interacted with divinity. Believe that you have interacted with divinity. I see some people, when they step out and you see them, you will know they have a backing. If you make a mistake and you scratch their car in traffic, they will just step out, and the level of confidence, you will know that he knows somebody in the government. The way he will throw his weight about, even you are begging and he will just take his phone. Do you know who I am? I will show you where power lies. And they just want to make a call and make you know that they know somebody. You see, they are confident about who they know. They are confident in what they have put their trust in. David said, I am confident because I know what I have put my trust in. I am confident because he is my rock and my salvation. In whom shall I trust? I am confident in whom I have put my trust. He is the ancient of days. When you pray, believe. Don't go asking, how will God do it? Don't go asking, when will he do it? Don't go asking, how will he do it? Don't go asking, where will he do it? Just believe. Most people pray, and once they step out from their prayer closet, they begin to ask, how will God do it? They begin to ask, the doctor says I don't have a womb. How will I even get pregnant? They begin to ask. They begin to use science to begin to explain a lot of things. The doctor says, and the doctor says, and the doctor says. They are reasoning through a lot of things. They are rationing through a lot of things. When you do that, Jesus said, you shall not receive. He said, when you now begin the prayer in the realm of action, Jesus said, move into the realm of thought. In that realm of thought, he said, you have confidence in it, you believe in it, you think about it, you hold that mental thought in your mind. The doctor says it is not possible for you to walk again, but if only you can see yourself in that thought realm walking, then I came to announce to you, you shall walk. The doctor says you shall not leave that sick bed ever again. You will die in the next 6 months. If you can hold that mental thought of you walking about freely again, walking about healthy again, then I came to announce to you, you shall live again. The doctor said you do not have any womb to carry a child, so you cannot carry a child again. If only you can see yourself pregnant, if only you can hold that mental picture in your mind, you. If only you can hold that mental picture in your mind. Jesus said, when you pray to my Father in my name, believe it. When you pray to my Father in my name, believe it. Believe it. It means to think, to be confident in, to place confidence in something, to place confidence in something. Believe that you have come face to face with divinity. Believe that you have come to interact with divinity. Believe that you have had the opportunity to interact and participate in the government of God. Believe it. Place your confidence in it. Don't go asking, how will God do it? Don't go asking, when will God do it? Don't go asking, where will God do it? Don't go thinking about science. Don't go thinking about, and my doctor says, and my doctor says. Just believe. It is in the realm of thinking. Hold that mental thought in your mind. The same way God told Habakkuk. He said, Habakkuk, write the vision which I shall show you. The doctor says you don't have a womb, you can't give birth. But anytime you dream, you see yourself carrying twins. Anytime you dream, you see yourself pregnant in a dream. Anytime you dream, you see yourself pregnant. I came to announce to you, if only you can wake up, write that vision. If only you can wake up, write that vision. You are jobless, but you see God giving you a company. Anytime you dream, you see yourself owning a very big company, running a very big company, employing over 800 staff. But today, when you look at your state of unemployment, you begin to ask, how will God do it? You begin to ask, when will God do it? You begin to ask, where will God do it? You begin to ask, how will God do it? The minute you engage negative thoughts, it can never come to pass. But when you understand that, pray prayer is also in the realm of thought. So once you engage the asking dimension, it moves into the realm of thought. In that place, we hold that mental image in our mind. In that place, you are confident in your interaction with divinity. In that place, you are confident that you are communing with divinity, placing your confidence in divinity. For his ways are not our ways, neither his thoughts our thoughts. Don't go thinking and imagine, how can God do it? How will he do it? Why will he do it? When will he do it? Only place confidence in your interaction with divinity and believe. Jesus said, you shall receive. That is why brother A seems to get all the results and brother B is struggling with the results, because brother A, when he interacts with divinity, he places confidence in that interaction. He holds that interaction in his mind and he believes that God will do it, and God does it. Let's continue. Another word, let's continue. Presteu. He said it also means, in a moral or religious reference used in the New Testament, of the conviction and trust in which a man is impelled by a certain higher, inner and higher prerogative and law of the soul. Number 2, to trust in Jesus or God as able to aid either in obtaining or in doing something, saving faith. Also, to entrust a thing to one, either his fidelity, to be entrusted with a thing. From the Strong's definition, it means to have faith. It also means respect to a person or thing, that is, by implication, to entrust, especially one's spiritual well-being, to Christ. Believe, commit to trust, put in trust with. That's all. Believe. That's all. I can't drag it any much more than what I'm saying. The other day, the psalmist in Psalm 19 verse 14. The psalmist in Psalm 19 verse 14. He said, let the words of my mouth, speaking of the accent realm. Now listen. He said, let the words of my mouth, the accent realm. Now he's praying. Now in the prayer, he begins with the accent realm. He said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in the sight, O Lord. Be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. He said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you, O Lord. The psalmist puts it very clearly. He makes it very elaborate, that let the words of my mouth, once you interact with divinity, understand that the words of your mouth, he said, now hold that mental picture in your heart. Believe it. Move to a realm of thought. He said, hold that mental thought in your mind. Are you believing God for a miracle? Have you prayed concerning fruit of the womb? I said, if only you can believe it after engaging your prayer closet, if only you will not listen to the doctor's report, but you hold that mental thought in your mind. Jesus said, when you engage the action realm, now you have moved to a realm of thought. In that realm of thought, he said, we engage thoughts. In that place, we engage thoughts. And if only you can believe, my Father, because you have asked in my name, he will do it. Let's continue. But you see, there's a downside to it. There's a downside to this thing. There's a downside to it. Most people struggle with holding positive thoughts in their mind. They struggle a lot with holding positive thoughts in their mind. And you understand and appreciate why James made that emphatic statement. Because now, Paul in 2 Corinthians 2 verses 11, he said, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Let's read from verse 8. He said, wherefore I beseech you that ye would confirm your love towards him. Wherefore I beseech you that you will confirm your love towards him. Verse 9. For to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. Verse 10. To whom ye forgive anything, I forgive also. For if I forgave anything, to whom I forgive it, for your sakes I forgive it in the person of Christ. Verse 11, least Satan should get an advantage of you. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Why is it important to understand the thought realm of prayer? Why is it important to understand the thought dimension of prayer? I said it begins with the action dimension. First, you have to be led by the Spirit of God. You have to be moved by the Spirit of God, understanding the manner in which it is done, understanding the will of God being enforced over the will of man. Once you appreciate these things, and now you have the opportunity to interact with divinity, understand that it begins with the action realm. The action does not always mean kabadabadabadaba. No, we saw prayer in several dimensions. We saw Hannah whispering at her lips, yeah, we could not hear anything, but there was meditations in her heart. We also saw several aspects of prayer in terms of the mechanics of prayer. We also saw the reflections, the meditations, where somebody can sit long hours listening to worship songs and meditate on the goodness of God. Is all meditations. But in all these things, Jesus said, believe, hold that mental thought in your mind. Why? Because Paul comes to make it more elaborate. He said, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. For we are not ignorant of his devices. The Greek word for the word devices is the Greek word noema. Is the Greek word noema, which means a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts or purposes, a mental perception, that which thinks, thoughts, the mind. So now you see, so now it is a battle of the mind. So once you are engaging the prayer, it's a battle of the mind. One of the key devices of the devil is also thoughts, where he can send people evil thoughts. He can send people demonic thoughts to steal your confidence. He can send you demonic thoughts. He can send you demonic dreams to steal your confidence in Christ. So it is not every dream that is of God. There are some dreams you wake up and you have to rebuke it and hold that which God has said concerning you in your mind. David said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart. He's held that believe in his heart. He knows what God has said concerning him. You went to God, you went to church, and the prophet of God told you the mind of God. You prayed and you saw visions of yourself 3 years to come. You prayed and you saw God himself speaking to you. Bible said, and God appeared to Solomon in a dream and spoke to Solomon. Now you see physical interactions, you receive divine communications from the Spirit, yet you begin to doubt from time to time. Most often than not, it is the devil sending you demonic thoughts, because he understands that what you did, you initiated the process of achieving or of receiving a desired result. He understands the process of prayer. He understands that it begins with the thought realm. He understands that once you are moved by the Spirit, having fulfilled all that requirement, you now come into the realm of action. In the realm of action, whether it is the whispering on the lips, whether it is reflection, whether it is meditation, whether it is supplication, whether it is travail, whether it is action, whether it is palal, whether it is tefillah, whatever mechanic it might take, he understands that it now flows into the thought realm. In the thought realm, you have to still hold that mental picture in your mind. You have to still hold that confidence in him. You have to still hold on to that trust. David said, I put my trust in you. You are my redeemer. You are my salvation. You are my fortress in whom I trust. You still have to hold on to that trust. That is how that results will be produced. That is, Jesus said, when you ask in my name. So understand that there are devices of the devil, and one key device of the devil is a mental perception, is a mental thought. That is why I tell you that it is very important how you engage your mind, especially when you are praying about something and expecting the results. So now you are praying concerning divine healing, then you go singing songs like, this is the sickness that, oh God, I don't know if you save me, but if you will, Please save me now. Don't let this sickness kill me today. Oh God, please save me now. It's when you go singing such songs, even you don't even believe. How will you get a result? How will you get a result? Now, it is all about the battle of the mind. Once you understand these things, you understand that your thoughts are very important. How you engage your thoughts. So now you have prepared yourself. You have gone into your prayer closet. Now understand that when you leave your prayer closet, it does not end there. Now you have moved into the thought of realm as you go about your daily duties, as you go about engaging yourself in the daily activity at work, wherever you find yourself. Understand that you still have to hold that mental thought in your mind. You still have to believe it in your mind. Be confident about it. Put your trust in it. Jesus said, it shall surely come. So you have prayed, yet your mind is playing tricks on you. You don't have a womb. How can you give birth? You keep hearing demonic voices speaking to you, telling you it can never come to pass. Nobody has traveled in your family before. You can never travel. But you know what? You hold that mental thought in your mind. You hold on to that confidence that in him I have hope. That in him I have hope. In him I put my trust. When you can hold on to that mental confidence, Jesus said, when you have prayed in my name to my Father, you shall receive it. If only you still hold on to that mental confidence. It's only you hold on to that trust. So I said it begins with action and it moves you to the realm of thought. That is why brother A gets the desired result and brother B is struggling with all the results. This is why Paul now speaks about tongue speaking in a very interesting and dynamic way. I'll speak about tongue speaking very soon. Paul now comes on the scene to say, he that speaks in an unknown tongue, he speaks not unto man, but unto God. He that speaks in an unknown tongues. In the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 2. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verses 2. Paul said, for he that speaks in an unknown tongue, he speaketh not unto man, but unto God, for no man understands him. Howbeit in the spirit he speaks mysteries. The Greek word for the word mysteries is mysterion. Mysterion means hidden thing. It means secret. It means mystery. Generally, mysteries, religious secrets confided only to the initiated and not to the ordinary mortals. A hidden or secret thing, not obvious to the understanding. A hidden purpose or counsel. Secret will of men, of God, the secret counsel which govern God in dealing with the righteous, which are hidden from ungodly and wicked men, but plain to the godly. Speaking of gracious things, don't joke with speaking in tongues. Don't joke with prayer. You see what Paul is saying, that when you go to prayer, understand, he that speaks in an unknown tongue, this guy goes before God speaking in tongues, not because he wants his school fees to be paid, but these are men who have come of understanding, who have come by way of spiritual understanding. And these guys, they understand that when I go and stand before the Father, kadilibikus kapatapa belebeko badabasum telegezali. Paul said, they speak not unto man but unto God. Howbeit they are uttering mysteries, kalivitus bembeben kolobokuns katapata, unraveling the secret will of God, unraveling the hidden things of the cosmos. I told you, I said prayer is bigger. Prayer, liver, liko. I'll come and talk about speaking in tongues. Let me just hold on here. I'll come. I don't want to push it. Very gracious things. Now you understand that when you wake up to even go and speak in tongues, it is bigger than what you are thinking. And Paul said, I will pray in tongues and I will pray in my understanding. So I'll come and talk about. Let me not rush it. Back to the thoughts realm. You understand? So when you engage God on a different level like this, now you get a result. 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 You get a result because you understand how these things work. Paul said, when you speak in unknown tongues, how be it in the spirit? He said, how be it in the spirit? You are uttering mysteries. Understand, when you lift up your voice to pray, understand that you have come face to face with divinity. You have come face to face participating in the government of God. You have come face to face uttering mysteries about your future, uttering mysteries about countries, uttering mysteries about your family, uttering mysteries about God's universe. And when, just like Habakkuk, you are able to write the vision which you have. So in prayer, you hear, it might drop in your spirit like a thought. It might drop in your spirit like a voice. It might come to you for some people as visions. It might come to you for some in dreams. Bible said is that Habakkuk, write the vision which I shall show you. So all this now you are doing it in conscious because you understand the thought realm. So you are in prayer and you heard a voice. You heard a voice tell you that my son, in the next 2 years, I would release a company for you, and I would show you great and mighty things concerning A or concerning B. Then you go after prayer, you write it down. You write it down. You can have a book you call the visions book, or your prayer book, or me and God book. For me, I call the me and God book. And you write the vision. You write. You give the date. You give the time, and you write it. You give the date. You give the time, and you write it. And from time to time, you pick that book and you read. You reread it, and you hold that mental picture in your mind. That vision that you had concerning your future. That vision about the marriage that God showed you, concerning the travel that God showed you. Hold that vision, that mental vision in your mind. Write it in that book. Record it on your phone. Save it in your iCloud. Save it anywhere you can easily access it. And from time to time, revisit it. Listen to it. Play it over. Listen to the dreams again. Refresh your mind. It is called the thought realm. You are engaging the thought realm. You are engaging the thought realm. A man of God gives you a prophecy. Go write it down. Record it in your and save it in your iCloud, save it in Google Docs, save it anywhere you can easily access it. From time to time, replay it in your mind, replay it in your mind, replay it in your mind, and hold on to that thought. Be confident about it. Hold on to that mental thought, and you shall receive it. And you shall receive it, and you shall receive it. That is what he was speaking about, and you shall receive it. That is why brother A seems to get all the results, and brother B is struggling. Because brother B, when he goes into his prayer closet and he prays, when he leaves, he is done. But that is not how it works. When you leave, you still hold on to that mental thought. He said, no, man, that is the device of the devil. Because the devil will keep sending you demonic thoughts. The devil can even send you demonic dreams. God will show you concerning your future, and the devil will also show you a dream where now you are tattered. You are looking tattered. You are looking sad in that dream. You are looking wretched in that dream. When you wake up, now you feel very sad, and you're like, well, but God showed me this thing, and it will come to pass, and you will think that God did not speak to you. God spoke to you, but the evil might come to pass if you don't hold on to what God has told you. That day Job said, he said, what I fear has come upon me. What I fear has come upon me. When you engage fear in your thought realm, in the introduction, I spoke about fear and how that when you engage fear, it would produce the desired results. So I tell people, why engage fear and produce a negative result when you can consciously engage a positive thought and produce that result? Because it costs nothing to hold on to a positive thought, even when your heart seems to be giving up, even when everything around you seems to be giving up, even when your mind seems to be giving up on you, even when your heart seems to be giving up on you. The psalmist said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable unto you. Even when everything seems to be giving up around you, you are jobless, yet you see God showing you dreams concerning businesses that he's given to you. You are very poor, yet you see God show you visions about how you will travel around the world in a private jet, yet you don't know how it will happen. Yet when you look at your present condition, it does not look anything like how or what you have seen. You see God releasing real estates for you. You see God in visions and in dreams communicating to you about real estate. You see God communicating to you about writing books and how you will travel around the world as a global speaker, speaking at conferences. Yet as it stands now, you can't even write a poem, and you are wondering how it will come to pass. When you begin to rationalize around these things, nothing will happen. But when you hold on to the mental thought, now God will begin to speak to you. God will begin to speak to your heart. Go to school, take a degree. You begin to hear the movement in your spirit, and God will make provisions available to you. For some dreams, for some prayer requests, it will take a while. Understand? For some, it might be instant, like divine healing. Even for some divine healing, it might take a while. As you hold on to the request, as you hold on to the demands, as you hold on to the mental picture. If it's pressure, you go and today it will reduce. You will go and it will reduce. You will go and it will reduce. For some, it might be hole in heart. You will go and the hole is reducing. For some, it might be fibroid. You will go and it's shrinking and it's shrinking and it's shrinking. Finally, it's disappeared. For some, it's tumor. You might go and it's shrinking and it's shrinking and it might disappear. For some, it's cancer. You will go and it's dying out and it's dying out, and the next time you go, it's bent out. You understand? So as you keep holding on to the mental thought, you will keep seeing the change. You will keep seeing the change. You will keep seeing the change, and gradually, the results will come. The results will come, and that is how it works. But when you engage the negative thoughts, now they will happen. I'll talk about speaking in tongues very soon, and you begin to appreciate a lot of things. That is the reason why we make prophetic decrees and declarations. That is the reason why from time to time we pick the scriptures and we begin to declare, he that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. The reason why we make such declarations, so that you are confident about the Ancient of Days and what he can do. So you hold and put your trust in him. David said, let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable. For in thee I put my trust. You are my redeemer. For in thee I put my trust. You are my fortress. For in thee I put my trust. You are my rock and my salvation. For in thee I put my trust. For in thee I put my trust. For you make me lie down beside the still waters. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy follows me. For in thee I put my trust. For in thee I put my trust. He makes you lie beside the still waters. For in thee you put your trust. You are not seeing it today, but for in thee you put your trust. When David was anointed, he was only but a shepherd boy taking care of cattle and of the flock in the wilderness. He did not look anything like a king. But when oil came upon his head, David still believed it. It took a while, but he still took over the throne of Israel. It took a while. It took almost 20 years before he fully assumed the throne of Israel. But hear me, from the day when oil came upon his head, he did not look anything like it. But after he was done with the training process, after God was done with him, after he had completed the training process by holding on to the mental thought. So most often than not, at times when you pray, God will take you through a process. That process is to refine you. The scriptures calls it the refiner's fire. That process is supposed to refine you, supposed to and turn you into a pure gold, turn you into a pure metal, so that when you come out and you step out and you put on the crown of kingship, just like David, your throne shall be established all throughout ages in Israel. Your throne shall be established. So not every request comes instantly, but you hold on with a mental request, and as you hold on to that mental request, understand God will come through for you. Jesus said, when you are being moved by the Spirit to interact with divinity in the action realm, understand that once you are done with the action realm, it is a flowing together. It is an inflow into the thought realm. In that thought realm, believe. As you think about it, believe. That is what Paul knew, and Paul said, think on these things. Let's see in the book of Philippians. That's what Paul knew. In the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, he said, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true. Listen, he said, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, honest, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Think on these things. Think on these things. Think on these things. The Greek word there is logizomai. The Greek word there is logizomai. It means to reckon, to account, to compute, to calculate, to count over, to take into account, to make an account, metaphorically pass to one's account, to impute. A thing is reckoned. Don't joke with these things. He said, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things that are just, whatsoever things that are pure, whatsoever things that are lovely. Paul said, whatsoever things that are of a good report. He said, think on these things. Think on these things. Think on these things. That is why James comes on the scene in James chapter 1 verse 7, and James said, for let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. If you don't believe, a double-minded person. Speaking of a double-minded person, let's read James chapter 1 verses 6. Let's read from verse 6. He said, but let's read from verse 5. He said, if any of you lack wisdom, James chapter 1, let's start from verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, but let him ask in faith. So you see, they all understand that the realm of asking, but let him ask in faith. Let him ask in faith. Now we understand what the let him ask in faith means. To believe. The believe means to believe in the Greek simply also means to think. To think. To hold on to that mental image, to be confident in it, to put your confidence in it. Pisteu, to put your confidence in it. Pisteu, to put your confidence in it, to think on it, to put your trust in it. Same thing James is saying. He said, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, not wavering. The Greek word for the word wavering is diakrino. It means to separate, to make distinction, discriminate, to prefer, to learn by discrimination. It means don't waver. Don't go saying, I am not worthy. How will God do this? How can I say I am poor? How will I receive this? I am this. No. Don't waver. Let's continue. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. Verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That is why he said, when you waver, when you pray and you waver, nothing will happen. Speaking of spiritual reality, and this is a spiritual principle. This is a spiritual principle. Once you understand this thing, everything will begin to fall in place. Once you understand this thing, you agree with the psalmist that my cup runneth over. Once you understand this thing, you agree with Jesus that when you believe after asking, you shall receive, and truly you shall receive. And this is one of the key criteria that Brother A knows and appreciates so well, and that seems to get all the results, and Brother B is not. So now from hence, when you go into prayer, understand it is not an obligation, it is not mandatory, but it is an opportunity that has been offered to you to interact with divinity. It is an opportunity that has been offered to you to come face to face, to gain an advantage over every situation. And as you do and interact with divinity, understand that it begins with the thought realm as you are being led by the Spirit. But once you are done, it does not end there. It moves into the realm of thought, and in the realm of thought, Jesus said, "Pisteu, believe," where it is the onus lies on you to hold that mental vision in your mind. Whatever communication you pick in the Spirit, Jesus said, "Pisteu, hold on to it." In the book of Habakkuk, he said, "Write the vision, write it, that I shall show you." Whatever thought you receive, whatever communication you receive from the Spirit, he said, write it, and hold on to it. And I tell you that in the name of our Lord Jesus, Jesus. Scriptures cannot be broken. The words of Jesus cannot be broken. If only you believe, you shall receive in the name of our Lord Jesus. Somebody say amen.